roast out of that. If you could smell what I'm smelling right now, you probably would murder me for a cup of coffee.
Oh, here we go. It's a showdown between Geminis. Someone's going down, but it ain't gonna be me.
Okay, so you say you want a home roast, okay? Like I said in the title, right? Home roasting, when you get into home coffee roasting, to me was one of the best hobbies. That's how I could describe it. It's a hobby, you know. It takes a little to learn, but it's, you know, don't get too intimidated. I see a lot of videos out on YouTube about roasting, and they get real scientific with you, and this and that, and they're throwing all this science stuff at you, right? Which is not true. You don't need to go into all those, you know, scientific charts of temperatures and this and that. What you need to learn, this is going to be your new hobby, and this is a really rewarding hobby, right? To me it was. I love coffee and everything. You could tell I made a cup of coffee to have when I'm doing the video, and I just can't stop drinking. When you make your own coffee, it is the best coffee you will ever taste, all right? So with that being said, right, don't be intimidated. It's a great hobby. And you become like a rock star amongst your friends and company and family, because everybody just can't wait to have some of your fresh brewed coffee, right? But the first step you really need to do is, like, you got to get your feet wet. What I started off with when I first started roasting coffee was with a popcorn pumper, right? So, you know, my roasts in the beginning weren't coming out that great and everything like that. When it comes to coffee roasting, there is no scientific chart for it. You know, you got an Ethiopian or Kenya or Costa Rica. They all have their own little characteristics when you're roasting them. They have their certain smells and the color. And, you know, roasting is not an automatic thing. You can't buy a roaster, and if anybody tries to tell you can buy a roaster that you press a button, you walk away, and you have your beans all nice and fresh, it's impossible. That's why it's considered, to me, I consider it a hobby, because you learn a lot and everything. So that when I started off with just a popcorn pumper, what I learned when I was roasting coffee, you start learning what the bean starts to look like, what the bean smells like, right? What's it sound like? So you're using all your senses when you're roasting, right? And after a while, you start knowing how that bean is behaving in your roaster. You know, you can't walk away from roasting coffee. It's like I said, it's a hobby. It's like when you're building a birdhouse, right? You're not going to put the wood on the table and walk away and that birdhouse is built. No. This is, when you're roasting coffee, when you're doing that roast, you're on top of it. You're watching it, and you're cradling it, right, to get the best tasting coffee you want. And there's all different ways you could go into first crack and pull it away right after first crack. You could let it bleed into second crack. It all depends on your taste. And, you know, some people might like a Kenya just about in the second crack. Well, some other people might like a Kenya like right after the first crack. Right, so that's the fun of it. You're experimenting with it. It's like, you know, it always will come out a little bit different. But once you get to know your coffee and your coffee roaster, right? So that's why starting with something like this, a popcorn pumper, they're good. You can't roast a lot of coffee at one time. That's the only downfall. But that's good anyway, because when you're first starting, you might burn a lot of coffee, right? So you don't want to waste that money. But you get a chance to smell it and watch it very closely as you're roasting the coffee, right? Like, so I started with this thing, and I mean, I roasted with this thing for years, and I just upgraded. You could buy this on probably eBay or Amazon or something for under $100, you know, like $40, maybe even cheaper, right, to get started off. But I just recently upgraded to a Be More roaster, which is $350. But what the Be More roaster is, now that I'm more comfortable roasting everything, I get a lot more control. I can control the heat. I control the cooling time and everything else. So, and with the Be More, I could roast larger amount of coffee, because what happens after you become that coffee guy, you're going to have a lot of people who always want your coffee, and it's a great thing, because then you could start giving your coffee away as gifts and everything else, right? So don't be intimidated about roasting coffee. It's definitely a great hobby, right? And I love it. I drink regular coffee now from the store, right? It's like it's like sour water now, right? And believe me, once you start roasting, you start getting that perfect way you like a certain bean. It's like it's out of this world. All right, and it's the freshest you ever taste in your life, right? So, but when you first to start off with, you got to find a good bean, right? So if you're going to roast a crap bean, you're going to get crap coffee, right? I go to yankeeprepper.com. It's yankeeprepper.com. And this guy is a genius when it comes to picking out beans. I mean, he scours the whole world looking for the perfect beans. He's not going to sell you garbage, some bulk stuff he got just to make a buck. The guy really knows his coffee. He's been in the coffee business for years and years and years, right? And I'm not just promoting him because some of you might know me and Yankee go back a long ways from YouTube and everything. And we grew a friendship, not even a friendship. We're like brothers, a bond together. But I'm not just saying that his coffee is the best because I know him so well. It's just I do know him so well and I trust him, and I have tasted other green coffee and it doesn't come close to the coffee he picks out, right? So that's yankeeprepper.com. You go there, you can get your green beans. Not only, if you're not going to get into roasting, if you really just want good coffee, he also sells it in bags roasted already. He has his own company with the roaster, right? And he has a large selection of roasted beans already. So if you're not ready to get into roasting, you just want some good coffee to have for the holidays and for every day, check out his website. But that's where I go for all my green beans, right? Okay, so what I'm going to first start off with, it's like I said, don't be intimidated. If you want to start off with one of these, you might want to use this for a little while. Like I said, I used it for many years, and I got a lot of coffee. I had to move up a little bit because it just took too long for me to roast the amount of coffee I roast now, because I give it away as gifts, and my company, my family, everybody's breaking my chops because I became the coffee guy. All right. So what I'm going to roast right now, I'm going to roast an Ethiopian. Right. So I'm going to roast a ½ pound. Right. So you got your little thing here. It's like nothing to it. You just got to get a scale. A couple of tools you need to start. Right. But like I said, I went up to the Be More, and now I'm able to roast larger quantities, and I have more control over my roast also. Right. So I'm going to put my little cup on there. I'm going to tear off the weight. Right, I'm going to go, let me get on the other side here. You go to 8 ounces, and that's your ½ pound. There we go, a little over 8 ounces, no big deal. Get those beans in there, I'm not wasting any of them. Alright, so there we go. So I'll show you how I put it in the Be More, and I bring you through the little process of roasting with the Be More, you know. But like I said, if you just want to see if you're going to enjoy the hobby, don't waste the money on the Be More. It's like it's $350. Just go for one of these for like $30 and see if you enjoy it. Buy yourself a bag of coffee, do some roasting and everything. But I will maybe eventually make a video on roasting coffee in the popcorn pumper. But for now, I'm going to do it with the Be More. And there we go. We got our ½ pound of coffee. And I'm going to show you how to make this green gold into delicious coffee that you've never tasted before in your life. Okay, here we are. This is the Be More roaster, right? It's a drum roaster, electric drum roaster, right? It's a couple of parts. Not too intimidating. You just collects the chaff on the bottom, right? And here's your drum. I'm just trying to keep this real simple for you guys because, you know, you take the drum out, you know, you're going to put your beans in there. You close it up, right? Shake it up a little bit, and just make sure when you put your drum in, make sure you're setting it in correctly. There's like a little notch that it lays in. Give it a little twist. All right? It's like a microwave. You guys used microwaves before, right? Microwave, a toaster oven, it's the same thing. You know, don't be intimidated. Don't let it frighten you. You're roasting coffee. You become a pro in minutes. Right? You just got to learn. That's it. And you put your chaff thing back in. You got it all ready. All right, so the Ethiopian, what I like when I do the Ethiopian, right, is as soon as it's at a first crack, like when it's in first crack and almost ending, I'll start cooling off. Because you got to remember one thing with the Be More roaster is that you got to, as it's cooling, it's still getting some heat. So you're still going to be sort of roasting as it's cooling, right? So you got to remember, you got to just come a little bit short of where you want to be in your roast, right? So as soon as I go through that first crack and I hear that first crack is almost dead, right, I'm going to hit the cool button, right? You can hit the cool button and open the door and it will cool off faster, but the only bad thing about that, a lot of chaff comes out and you get a lot of smoke and everything, right? But not really a lot of smoke, but it gets a little messy. If you just learn how to end that roast just a little bit before it has to end, right, you're okay. And if you're going to start roasting, you want to get used to manual. So let me just show you how simple manual is in this. All right, so what I'm going to do, it's a half a pound, but I pressed 1 pound. Okay, I press 1 pound because I get 18 minutes. I don't feel like keep on adding time. Right, and I'll press P5, which in manual mode, oh, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm going to shut it off. You're going to press for the pound, number 1, and then you're going to press start, right, without pressing any of the P buttons yet, but as soon as you press start and you press the P button last, it's going to bring you into manual mode where you see the blinking of what heat temperature you put it on. In manual mode, the higher the number, the more heat you get. And that's it. Now it's gonna roll. The roaster's rolling. I have control. If I hit my D, I can make the drum go faster. But you make the drum go faster, you're sort of bringing more heat, more cool air in there, so it can prolong your roast time. That's like I said, it's a hobby. You got to fool around with all these settings, right? So I started off with nice, slow. If you could see in there, you could see the element heating up, and by holding B down, you could check your inside temperature, which is 129 degrees right now, and it just started. A button shows you your exhaust temperature, which who really cares about that? But that's it. Now it's all about watching your roast, right? So now I'm going to keep an eye on it. It has a light where I can see the roast inside, right? I'm just going to watch it. Okay, just a little heads up on the Be More roaster is that when your time is counting down, right? I believe once you get to like 3 minutes, right, you're going to see this thing start blinking, right? You have to acknowledge that you're still near the machine by pressing start again, and then it would just resume its time. Then after that, once that 3 minutes gets to 1 minute, it's going to start blinking again. And if your roast is not done, and if you're not to where you want to be, it's a safety feature on this, right? The thing would automatically go into a cooling mode, which you don't want. If your roast is not done, it starts cooling, that's it. Your roast is finished, right? It won't let you heat up again until it totally cools off. So this is when you really got to start watching it, and you should be close to your roaster anyway, because once you start getting down to the less time, right, you really got to keep an eye on it. But right now I could start smelling it. I smell the green grass smell. And this is the great part about roasting. You get to experience all this stuff. But like I said, once you press that and it gets down to 3 minutes, it's going to start blinking. You're going to have to press stop. Then the 3 minutes are still going to be there. But once it gets down to 1 minute, you can add 3 minutes at a time by pressing C. Right? I'll show you when it gets there. Right? But like my warning to you, if you don't acknowledge that after, I don't know how many, 10 seconds or something, it will automatically go into a cool down, and then your roaster's ruined. Okay, so it's just a safety feature, which is annoying, but I'm sure it's good, because if something does happen, you had to walk away from the roaster, you don't want to, those beans will start going on fire in there. Okay, I'm down to about a little under 6 minutes, right? You can already see my beans. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but my beans are brown now. This is when you start really paying attention. Don't be afraid to open the door and take a good look at your beans, right? See the color they're at. And this is the whole fun part about it. This is when the magic is going to start taking place. So you really want to start paying attention to it. So look, I see all my beans. They're getting nice and brown. I stew them on a higher temperature, right? And at this point right now, I'll start speeding my drum up, right? I'm going to get a little bit more airflow in there, about 5 minutes. Get a little bit more airflow in there, and I know everything is nice and hot. They're brown, and they're getting it. It's almost getting to first crack where I want to be. I want to just go into first crack, and then I'm going to cool that down. I'm going to go to first crack, let it lay a little bit, and then I'm going to cool that down because I know I'm going to have extra heat in there. You hear the cracking? There's my first crack. Right? Now, once I heard my first crack, I could taper some heat away. So I got it down to P3. So I'm pulling some heat away. You hear that cracking? I don't know if you can catch it, but as soon as that stops, you hear that? That beautiful sound. All right, so I got to press start because I got my warning. Remember I told you? So I got to finish out my time. I'm still getting first crack. As soon as first crack goes silent on me, I'm going to start cooling her down. That's for this bean. I like this bean just out of first crack. This is the Ethiopian. Look at it. I'm getting a beautiful crack. It's like popcorn. You can hear it. It's almost like popcorn. Like I said, and I pulled some heat away by giving a better drum speed, and now I'm down to P3. So now my heat should come down. I'm at 273, 271. Heat's coming down. I'm not hearing no more cracking. Yeah, I'm still hearing some cracking. My first crack is just about done. And now you got to remember, I went to P3, I lowered the heat, but there's still a lot of heat in there. The bean's a nice color, Still got my crack going. Your first crack lasts about maybe a minute and a half. There you go. I'm going to cool down now because I don't hear the cracking going on. I'm cooling it down because I know that the heat shut off, but the inside is still warm. So she's still going to be sort of roasting, and that's it. She's done. Look, see all the chaff if you keep the door open? See, guys, it's fun. It's a great time. Man, I get so excited about coffee, right? Okay, after it cools down, it goes into a 12-minute cool down. And then I'll show you the bean once I get it out of there. Alright, now there you go. You get a nice, beautiful Ethiopian roast out of that. If you could smell what I'm smelling right now, you probably would murder me for a cup of coffee. But that's it. It's like, you know, don't be intimidated by it. Get into this. It's a great hobby. It's not hard. You know, some people like roasting, getting a darker roast out of their coffee. Some bean is really good in a second crack roast, you know. I find the Ethiopian is just right out of first crack. I get the best taste. It's like I can't even explain it. It's just you could just almost taste the atmosphere of where it came from, right? But it's one of my favorite coffee is Ethiopian. I have to admit, right? But I love all the different coffees. But some of the other coffees you might want to make a little darker. If you like a darker roast, or more like flavor like that, right? But what you don't want to do is roast it so much that it's oily. That's it. You ruin your coffee, right? This is how you really get the flavor. That's why you got to fool around with each bean and try to figure out how you like it, right? And you're the taste tester of your product. So that's how you're going to impress your friends. You know, you could just roast everything the same way, right? And sort of get a little bit different taste on each coffee, but you're roasting everything the same way. You know, you're not taking advantage of the different stages. Like I could roast this into the second crack and there'd be a whole different taste to it. I happen to think the best taste out of the Ethiopian is right out of first crack. But there you go, guys. Don't be afraid. Get into this and you won't regret it. You become an addict like me. Okay, guys, there you go. Was that hard? Hey, it takes a little getting used to, right? That's what makes a hobby. When you get into a hobby, you're not the best at it as soon as you start doing it, but you get a lot of satisfaction out of roasting your own coffee, right? So you could taste coffees from all over the world, all over this planet, right? You become an addict like me, like, oh, you know. But anyway, this is the Ethiopian, right? But, you know, I felt like maybe I was going a little bit too fast on showing you guys. But it's simple. It's everybody, like I said, you got to get used to it. You got to just try your different blends of coffee and your own taste test, you know. You're going to roast your coffee, and you know, one guy might like it darker, one guy might like it lighter. You don't know. It's like I said, you're the master chief chef of your coffee roasting. But that's where I get all my green beans from YankeePrepper.com. Check them out. You got really great coffee. You know, don't take my word for it. Try it out. And I think I'm going to start some videos like this. You know, I got my garage set up and all ready to go for coffee roasting. So when I'm doing different coffees, I'll just show you my times and how I like it. And maybe you could, it'd be like a little stepping stool for you and say, okay, maybe I'll take some of the guesswork out of it for you. But like I said, I got another batch cooling off right now, right? It's Christmas time. You could give gifts. It's a great gift idea, right? For all the people in your family and people at work. Come to Coffee Guy. Everybody's going to love you. God bless all you guys. Live for today, prep for tomorrow. And I'll see you next time. I'm getting back into the swing of videos, I hope. I said that a million times. But, you know, life this year has went by like a blink of an eye. I was like, it's New Year's is coming. I can't believe it. But I'm doing well. I hope all you guys out there are doing well. And I'll see you soon. Take care.